Table 12 was tucked in the far corner of the ballroom, partially hidden behind a decorative screen and uncomfortably close to the kitchen's swinging doors. The table number itself was handwritten on a plain card, unlike the elegant calligraphy marking the first 11 tables. I found my name on the seating chart, Dr. Rachel Bennett, Table 12. No title prefix on the actual place card, just Rachel, guest. Around me at Table 12, my elderly great-aunt who couldn't hear, two of my sister's co-workers who'd clearly been invited out of obligation, someone's teenage nephew glued to his phone, and 3 empty chairs. We were the leftover table. The people who didn't fit the aesthetic of my sister Jennifer's perfect wedding vision. From my partially obstructed view, I could see the head table where Jennifer sat in her $8,000 Vera Wang dress next to her groom Tyler. My parents flanked them, beaming. The front tables held Jennifer's corporate friends, Tyler's business associates, and various wealthy relatives who'd contributed to the wedding's $200,000 budget. I'd contributed $15,000 when Jennifer asked for help with the venue deposit. She'd promised I'd be at a good table, probably with the family. Apparently Table 12, behind a screen near the kitchen, counted as family in her mind. My phone buzzed discreetly in my clutch. An email from Dr. Margarita Sundstrom, chair of the Nobel Committee for Chemistry. Dr. Bennett, final confirmation needed for tomorrow's press conference announcing this year's laureates. Your attendance essential. Congratulations again on this extraordinary achievement. Tomorrow, the Nobel Committee would announce that I'd won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for my work on synthetic protein structures that would revolutionize medicine and materials science. I'd mentioned it to my family once, 3 months ago. There's a possibility I might be nominated for a major science award, I'd said at Sunday dinner. Jennifer had laughed. You and your test tubes. That's cute, Rachel. I'm sure you'll get some nice certificate to hang in your lab. My mother had patted my hand. That's wonderful, dear. Oh, Jennifer, I forgot to tell you. The florist confirmed the peonies for your bouquet. My father hadn't looked up from his phone. They didn't know what the Nobel Prize was. Or if they did, they'd never connected it to my work. To them, I was Rachel who did something with science, was perpetually single at 34, and didn't fit into Jennifer's wedding aesthetic because I didn't have a photogenic husband to balance the seating chart. Are you family? My great-aunt shouted at me, adjusting her hearing aid. Yes, Aunt Margaret. I'm Jennifer's sister. Who? Jennifer's sister, I repeated louder. One of Jennifer's co-workers looked at me with surprise. You're the bride's sister? Why are you back here? Good question. The wedding planner appeared, checking on our table. Is everything satisfactory? I apologize for the placement, but we were working with challenging numbers. Challenging how? I asked. She lowered her voice. The bride wanted couples at the front tables. Singles and, well, less photogenic guests were asked to sit toward the back. For the photos. She gestured vaguely toward Table 12. You understand. I understood perfectly. I understood that Jennifer wanted her wedding photos to show successful, coupled people. That my professional achievements meant nothing compared to my lack of a +1. That I was being hidden because I didn't fit her Instagram perfect vision. My phone buzzed again. This time a text from my research partner at Stanford. Rachel's Swedish media is already leaking the Nobel announcement. It's hitting social media. Congratulations, you brilliant woman. The world is about to know what we've known for years. I glanced at the time, 6:47 p.m. The Nobel announcement was scheduled for tomorrow morning, Stockholm time, which was happening right now in California, during Jennifer's reception. I opened Twitter. The physics and chemistry communities were buzzing. Photos of me from conferences, speculation about my protein structure work, congratulations flooding in from colleagues worldwide. Hashtag Nobel Prize 2024 Chemistry Leak. Dr. Rachel Bennett, Stanford, for revolutionary work in synthetic protein structures. Official announcement imminent. The news was breaking. Right now. During my sister's reception where I'd been hidden at the leftover table. The wedding coordinator announced dinner service. Servers brought elaborate plated meals to the front tables first. Filet mignon with lobster tail, truffled potatoes, microgreens artfully arranged. Table 12 got chicken breast and rice pilaf, noticeably less impressive. Even the food is different, Jennifer's coworker muttered. Unbelievable. My phone continued buzzing. More texts, more emails, more social media notifications. The Nobel leak was accelerating. Major news outlets were picking it up. Stanford researcher Dr. Rachel Bennett wins Nobel Prize in Chemistry, appeared on CNN's breaking news banner. Jennifer stood to give a speech, thanking everyone for attending the most important day of my life. She thanked her parents for their support, Tyler's parents for their generosity, her bridesmaids for their loyalty. She didn't mention me once. My mother's speech followed, gushing about Jennifer's accomplishments. Her marketing manager position at a mid-level tech company, her beautiful home, her perfect wedding, her wonderful husband. Jennifer has always been our shining star, my mother concluded, tears in her eyes. Everything a parent could hope for. I sat at table 12 behind the decorative screen, watching my mother cry about Jennifer's achievements while my Nobel Prize was being announced to the world. My father's speech was briefer but similar. Jennifer the successful one. Jennifer the pride of the family. Jennifer who'd made something of herself. I'd made synthetic proteins that would change medicine. Jennifer had made PowerPoint presentations for software launches. But she had a husband and good lighting, so clearly she was the success story. At 7:23 p.m. the ballroom doors opened. A woman in a professional black suit entered, scanning the room. She approached the wedding coordinator with urgent purpose. I recognized her. Dr. Annika Larson, Deputy Director of the Nobel Foundation's Public Affairs Office. We'd met twice during the vetting process. The wedding coordinator looked confused, then pointed toward the head table. Dr. Larson shook her head and said something. The coordinator checked her seating chart, then pointed directly at table 12. Dr. Larson walked through the ballroom, past the prime tables, past the gawking guests, straight to my corner position behind the screen. Dr. Bennett, she said quietly, I apologize for interrupting, but this is urgent. The Chemistry Prize announcement has been officially released. Media is outside requesting statements. Stockholm is calling for your immediate response. We need you for press coordination. Every head at nearby tables turned. The room's ambient noise dropped as people strained to hear. I understand, I said calmly. Give me one moment. I stood, smoothing my simple navy dress. Elegant but understated, appropriate for both a wedding and, as it turned out, the first public appearance as a Nobel laureate. Jennifer approached, her smile tight. Rachel, what's going on? Who is this woman? Dr. Annika Larson from the Nobel Foundation, I said. She's here to coordinate my response to the Chemistry Prize announcement. I won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, Jennifer. It was announced about 40 minutes ago. It's all over the news. My sister's face went blank. You won the Nobel Prize? For my work on synthetic protein structures. The research I've been doing at Stanford for the past 8 years. The work I tried to tell you about at Sunday dinner. My mother had joined us now, looking between me and Dr. Larson with confusion. Rachel, what is happening? You're disrupting Jennifer's reception. Mrs. Bennett, Dr. Larson interjected, her Swedish accent crisp. Your daughter has just been awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. This is one of the highest honors in science globally. The media outside is quite substantial. CNN, New York Times, BBC, Nature, Science. They're all requesting statements from Dr. Bennett. Media? Here. My mother's face paled. Other guests were pulling out phones now, searching my name. Murmurs spread through the ballroom. Oh my God, someone said loudly. Rachel Bennett, Stanford chemist. She actually won the Nobel Prize. It's trending on Twitter. Revelation. Tyler's father, a prominent venture capitalist, approached with his phone out. You're the Dr. Rachel Bennett? The protein structures researcher? We were just discussing your work at our portfolio review last month. One of our biotech investments is based entirely on your published findings. She's a scientist? Jennifer asked weakly. She's the scientist in synthetic proteins, Tyler's father said, his tone reverent. Dr. Bennett, my firm would love to discuss potential collaborations. Your work is revolutionary. Jennifer looked like she'd been slapped. This was her reception. Her perfect day. And suddenly everyone was looking at me, the leftover table sister, the one without a +1 who didn't fit the aesthetic. My father had his phone out now, reading. Rachel, you won a Nobel Prize? When were you going to tell us? I tried. 3 months ago. You changed the subject to Jennifer's flower arrangements. Dr. Larson checked her phone. Dr. Bennett, Stockholm is calling again. They need you for the press conference via video link. Is there somewhere private we can set up? The wedding coordinator, now understanding the magnitude of the situation, offered, the bridal suite is available. Perfect. As I moved to leave, Jennifer grabbed my arm. You can't do this. This is my wedding day. You're stealing my moment. I looked at her carefully. At the $8,000 dress, the perfect makeup, the reception that cost more than most people's annual salary. At the head table where I wasn't invited, the front row seats reserved for people who mattered, the leftover table where I'd been hidden. Jennifer, I'm not stealing anything. The Nobel Committee doesn't schedule announcements around family weddings. I've worked for this for 15 years. I've published 47 peer-reviewed papers. I've revolutionized an entire field of chemistry. The fact that this news broke during your reception isn't my fault. But everyone's talking about you instead of my wedding. Yes, they are. Because a Nobel Prize is historically significant. Your wedding, while lovely, is not. My mother gasped. Rachel, that's cruel. No, Mom. Cruel is seating your daughter at the leftover table behind a screen because she doesn't have a husband. Cruel is never asking about her work even though she's doing groundbreaking research. Cruel is giving speeches about one daughter's marketing job while ignoring the other daughter's Nobel Prize level achievements. I'm not being cruel. I'm stating facts. Several guests had their phones up now, filming the confrontation. This was going to be all over social media. The bride's sister winning the Nobel Prize during the reception, the family drama, everything. Dr. Larson intervened gently. Dr. Bennett, we really must proceed with the press conference. I followed her to the bridal suite. Within 10 minutes, I was on a video call with Stockholm with the Nobel Committee formally congratulating me, with journalists from major publications asking about my research and its implications for medicine. Someone had brought my clutch from table 12. Inside was the acceptance speech I'd been drafting, the one I'd been quietly reviewing while sitting alone at the leftover table, ignored by my own family. The press conference lasted 40 minutes. When I emerged, the wedding reception had transformed. Guests weren't watching Jennifer and Tyler's first dance. They were clustered around phones and tablets, reading about my work, watching interviews I'd given at conferences, sharing news of the Nobel Prize. Jennifer sat at the head table, tears streaming down her face, her perfect makeup ruined. My mother tried to comfort her. Tyler looked uncomfortable, uncertain how to salvage his bride's special day. My father approached me. Rachel, I think we need to talk. I had no idea you were doing such important work. I tried to tell you. Multiple times. You weren't interested. Your mother thought you were just doing experiments. We didn't realize that I was successful, that my work mattered, that I'd achieved something historically significant. Kept my voice level. You didn't realize because you never asked. You seated me at table 12 with the leftover guests because I'm single and didn't fit Jennifer's aesthetic. You gave speeches celebrating Jennifer's middle management job while I sat in the corner, quietly winning a Nobel Prize. Several guests had gathered nearby, listening. This confrontation was becoming part of the wedding's story, not the story Jennifer had wanted, but the one that was happening. Tyler's father approached again. Dr. Bennett, I meant what I said about collaborations. Our fund focuses on breakthrough biotechnology. Your protein work is exactly what we invest in. I'll have my Stanford office coordinate with yours, I said professionally. He handed me his card, then looked at my father. You must be incredibly proud. Having a Nobel laureate in the family is extraordinary. My father nodded weakly, unable to meet my eyes. I left the reception an hour later. Dr. Larson needed me for additional press coordination, and honestly, staying felt unnecessary. Jennifer's perfect day had imploded, but not because of anything I'd done. I'd simply existed, quietly achieving something remarkable while my family dismissed me as table leftover material. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. The story had gone viral. Nobel Prize winner seated at leftover table at sister's wedding. Multiple news outlets had picked it up. The optics were terrible. Successful scientist hidden at her own sister's wedding, family unaware of her achievements, dramatic revelation during reception. Jennifer's carefully curated wedding photos were overshadowed by photos of me at table 12, by screenshots of the Nobel announcement, by footage from the press conference I'd done from her bridal suite. My mother called, crying. You've made us look terrible. Everyone's talking about how we didn't know about your Nobel Prize. How we seated you in the back. The country club is buzzing with gossip. You did make yourselves look terrible, Mom. I didn't create that situation. I just existed in it. But you could have handled it differently. You could have left quietly, done the press conference somewhere else. The Nobel Foundation needed me immediately. Should I have skipped the most important press conference of my career to protect Jennifer's wedding aesthetic? My father sent an email. Rachel, we'd like to discuss your achievement properly. Perhaps you could come to dinner and explain your work to us. I didn't respond. Jennifer texted once. I hope you're happy. My wedding is ruined. Everyone's calling it the Nobel Prize wedding, like that's the main event. You couldn't let me have one day. I replied, you had your day, Jennifer. You just didn't expect mine to happen simultaneously. That's not my fault. The Nobel Prize ceremony in Stockholm was 3 weeks later. My parents asked if they could attend. I told them the guest allocation was limited and I'd already invited my research team and my thesis advisor, the people who'd actually supported my work. They weren't invited. The ceremony was everything I'd worked for, standing in Stockholm Concert Hall, receiving my medal from the King of Sweden, delivering my acceptance speech about synthetic proteins and their potential to cure diseases. My research team sat in the audience, proud. My advisor cried. Table 12 wasn't mentioned in my acceptance speech, but I thought about it while speaking. About sitting in the corner, quietly reviewing this speech, while my family celebrated my sister's mediocrity at the front of the room. Jennifer's wedding faded from social media. My Nobel Prize remained. A permanent achievement recognized globally, impossible to diminish or ignore. My family sent a Christmas card to my Stanford address. Inside was a note. We're sorry we didn't recognize your accomplishments sooner. We hope you'll give us a chance to celebrate you properly. I didn't respond. Proper celebration doesn't come after embarrassment goes viral. It comes when your daughter tries to tell you about her work at Sunday dinner, and you actually listen instead of changing the subject to flower arrangements. The protein structures I developed are now being used in 15 countries. 3 major pharmaceutical companies have licensed my patents. Medical journals call my work transformative. My family calls it unfortunate timing that the announcement happened during Jennifer's wedding. They still don't understand. The timing wasn't unfortunate. It was clarifying. It showed them exactly where their priorities had always been, at the head table in the spotlight with the photogenic people who fit the aesthetic. And it showed me exactly what I'd always known. Real achievement doesn't require a good table or perfect lighting. It just requires work, dedication, and the quiet confidence to keep going even when your own family seats you with the leftovers. The Nobel Prize committee found me at table 12. My family just hadn't bothered to look.